Hey guys, it's Crafty Music Lover here, and today I'll be flipping through the first part of November 2020 in my One Page at a Time by Adam J. Kurtz. If you haven't seen all of the other One Page at a Time videos that I have, I will leave it in the description box for you and link it on the screen so that you can check it out if you're interested. Without further ado, let's go ahead and jump into November 1st. Quite a bit of these pages actually have a give this page away, and I don't particularly like giving my pages away, but maybe a little selfish, but I think it's super fun to look back on. So for this particular page, I wrote a quote-unquote note to my friend from high school, and I really wanted to remember a memory that we had together, so I wrote it down on the page, and then I covered the background in with a Winsor Newton Pro marker in purple. I lined the top and bottom of the page in some polka dot washi tape, and then added this little die cut frame with a quote that says, "Days are fleeting, memories are forever," and then slapped on a little die cut image of this girl. On the opposite page, you will see some money, and it is because the prompt tells you to tape a $5 bill to this page and forget about it. For the theme of the page, I really liked the whole money theme, so I had a really old Monopoly board game that I had from my house when I was growing up, and a lot of the pieces have been missing, but for some reason we still held on to that board game, so I decided to make use of some of those papers because they were just going to sit there and collect dust. So I just ripped them up and added them to the page to kind of make a background for it to make it a little more interesting. For these next two pages, they actually go together. They're not the same day, but they go together. For the background of the left side of the page, I painted it with some blue acrylic paint, but I have these little doilies that I made as sort of a pull away stencil so that it would kind of add a little bit of texture to the page. And then on top of that, I just wrote a little letter to myself 6 months from now in with a black paint pen, and then I drew in some lines with a purple Posca paint pen. On the opposite page, I actually used an old rag, so an old like dish rag from the Dollar Tree that I had a really long time ago, and I just never got around to using it. So it was still like in the packaging, all brand new, and I just decided to slap it on the page because there's no better way to use old fabric than to add some background for a letter. For the actual letter, I grabbed a piece of just lined paper and glued it onto the page, and then to make sure that everything would be nice and good and lasting for a while, I covered it with several layers of matte Mod Podge. For the next page, this is probably my favorite in the entire set for November. I really like this page, and I did the same concept that I had done in my October part 2, and I just used the same scrapbook paper, the same pieces and bits, and I just ripped them up in different pieces and glued them on the page. And then I had from an old scrapbook paper these just Minnie Mouse faces and like different poses that she does, so I cut them all out and glued a few different ones on there, and I decided to write "I'm fine, everything is just fine, everything is great" on the page, just to kind of go with the "Are you doing all right" prompt. For the opposite page, I really had a lot of fun writing down my fears because it reminds me of how much I'm scared of, but also how far I've come from things that I was scared of. So I just decided to decorate it with just a few images that terrified me just a little bit, and not to things that were easy to draw, basically. And I can tell you right now, do not look up pictures of spiders if you are scared of them, because it is not a good idea. For the background of the page, I used some chalk pastels and just shaded them onto the page and used a paper towel to rub them in to give them that kind of look. And then I covered the page with some clear packing tape just to hold everything together and make sure it didn't smudge on the opposite page. For November 7th, I'm sure you guys can remember, it was a very monumental event for everyone. It was a new president. We got a new president elected, so I decided to kind of base it a little bit off of that. I thought it would just be fun to use my red, white, and blue star washi tape that I got from Amazon, and I will leave that in the description box below if you guys are interested in purchasing it. It's not the best washi tape, but I think for the specifics of this page it did pretty well. And I just drew in this girl with her arms raised in the air saying, "We did it, yay, congratulations." No matter your political preference, it was an important day in history, no matter who you voted for. For November the 8th, it was basically just asking you to wear something inside out, so I actually wore my undergarments inside out, and it felt very awkward, but it didn't really make a difference, and I decided to write that on the page somehow, and I had a bunch of these travel themed scrapbook papers, and one of them had a bunch of different clothing, so I decided to use that to decorate the back of the page. And then I used some Posca paint pens, and they're like these glittery pens. It was a really weird color that I had, and I don't really like how they looked, but I thought it was a good background. If you're not familiar with one page at a time, sometimes they'll just say, you know, what are you up to today? What are you doing? So for this page, I just wrote my schedule, what I was doing every single day pretty much for the past few days, and I thought that that fit well with the prompt. So I used some just random pieces of paper that had some plaid all over them for the background of the page, and then I cut out some images from an old like clip art magazine, and then to kind of write the words that I was doing, like describe the pictures, I took a piece of just random pink washi tape and laid it on the page and then wrote down what I was doing. To tie in the pink, I added this pink heart washi tape to the top and bottom of the page. For the last prompt in this video, it is a prompt that asks you to draw your viral hit. So I didn't really know what to do at first, and then I just decided I would draw my logo and see what that would look like as a drawn image rather than a digitally made image. So if you don't know, my logo is a bunch of my old polymer clay charms that I made, along with some specific charms that are unique to me, but things that I've made myself, and then a couple of other just like crafting items. So I just colored that in with what my logo looked like, and I actually really enjoy the way it looks. I think it looks pretty cool. To tie in the whole page, I just threw on some of this flower themed washi tape around the image to make it just focus more on the actual logo rather than the whole page in general. And that concludes November 1st through the 10th in my one page at a time. Let me know which prompt was your favorite in the comments section down below, and hit that thumbs up if you enjoyed it. Be on the lookout for parts 2 and 3 in my November 2020 in this book, and make sure you hit that subscribe button so you're notified whenever I post a new video. Thank you guys so much for watching. I really hope you enjoyed this video, and until next time, craft on. Bye guys.